Anders la puede animar a Anders, la devolución viene, el segundo, ¡gol!
Hello and welcome into the official SDFC podcast. I'm Kaila Burns-Hefner here with Marvell and Sal Zizzo is back. Welcome back.
I feel like it's been forever.
It's been forever.
Yeah.
Well, I actually didn't tell Marvell I was doing this, but we do have a fun video to welcome you back from your radio debut back against Colorado midweek game from our good pal, Adrian over at the radio team.
Oh, yeah.
You still got some hops at your
No, you know what it was is, when I was a player and you're on the field and they finish the national anthem, every time they'd finish the national anthem, I would like sprint backwards, do a few jumps, headers, and then like come back to my spot. So, after the national anthem, I felt like I needed to do something, like get ready to go. So we were having a little laugh about that.
Never seen that on the podcast.
I know, right? Yeah, I know, right? Get all amped up like that before a podcast.
Anyways, welcome back. It's good for all of us to be back together at this table. We've got a lot to recap. It was a busy month of May, 7 games. SDFC has went 5-1-1 in that span. The last time we've seen you guys, we were previewing LA Galaxy. Now we have recaps for LA Galaxy, Seattle Sounders, as well as Austin from this past Saturday. Just a little bit of a brief reminder for the results of those games. LA Galaxy, 2-1 victory with that 95-minute thrilling game winner. Midweek match at Seattle, 1-0 loss, and then came back home on this past Saturday versus Austin with a 2-0 performance. Really incredible to see that result kind of turn around and the momentum being built up into this time frame. Guys, what are your thoughts on this span?
Yeah, look, 5-1-1 in May. They really, at San Diego FC, really gained a lot of ground, right, in the point column, and that's going to be huge. Sitting in second place, just behind Vancouver, which again is just incredible for an expansion team. They've fit the mold. They've hit every single test that we've talked about. And what we'll talk about a little bit more deeper is just how much more comfortable they look. How many, we talked about probably, I don't remember what game it was, but they shuffled some players early on in the season, and it came to bite them a little bit, right? I think we lost the game, and there was maybe some criticism, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have rotated, but it was all because of this month. The month of May was really the reason why you had to get some players some minutes, get some guys a little bit of taste before you just throw them in there, right? So now you guys got guys like Bambino and Verhoeven and all these guys at Alvarado who have contributed to this month of going 5-1-1. And I don't know if, we would have had that type of record if we didn't get some experience in specifically that game. So kudos to the team for really gaining ground in the race. And you never know. Vancouver's not all that far back, and we're halfway through the year. So keep it going. I'd love to see them, kind of at least maybe threaten a little bit for that supporter shield.
Yeah, for some numbers there, Oscar made his 3rd start for SDFC. Luca Bambino made his 10th start. These are guys that were just starting to get, some starting appearances and minutes early on into the season. So, and then we also saw a player like Alejandro Alvarado be able to come in for Yeppe Tverskov, who was on yellow card accumulation, be able to step in and be able to get his first start at home and perform a good way. So we'll talk a little bit more about that with Frank. But Marvell, what have you seen out of this team in this stretch?
Kind of echo what Sal said. It's kind of rare where you see a team look more comfortable while switching up the lineup. They don't usually go hand in hand. Some players come in and it's kind of like changing the gears in a finely tuned watch. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just doesn't go so well. Sometimes a little bit of creaks here and there. But the way the players are moving, the way they're organizing, the way they play together, you can see the whole group kind of advance together. You can see when they're on the ball. It's not as if they're predictable. It just looks like they're more fluid. It's almost like you can understand that they're what their playing style is going for, and if they're going to attack, they're going to play forward. If they're going to look to press, if they're going to look to drop, it's just kind of fun to see it play out organically. And this is a busy month. When I was playing, I did like months like this because it's just play, prepare, play, recover, prepare, play, recover. There's not a lot of downtime in between. But in that situation, in those times, it takes a big toll on your body. Soccer is not an easy sport, despite what these players are making it look like out there. So being able to come out of a month like this on a high is an extremely good look moving forward, and just nothing but optimism.
Yeah, again, 16 out of 21 possible points in this month of May. The results speak for themselves, but Mikey had some great things to say post Austin about just what it means for this team to be in this form right now in the season.
I think that what I told the boys was that they were ready. And I got this sensation in the last few weeks that the style of play is like really becoming ingrained, not only inside their head, but in their heart and in their blood. And that's a really important step for this to become DNA, because it's all surface level in the beginning, right? And you see, like, you have to think. But recently, I've noticed that they're playing without thinking, and it's just happening. And that one guy leaves and another guy comes in, and it keeps going. And for me, that's the most important thing. And the points are always so important because we're here to win. But the more important thing is that, I think.
That's not supposed to happen for an expansion side. All these players coming together are not supposed to be this tight and almost reading each other's minds in a team that has just been brought together. I mean, it's only something to look forward to in the future, to see what happens when these players are just together longer, the more powerful they become as a team and as a unit. And honestly, there has to be some kind of atmosphere from the players to the coaches on and off the pitch that allows everybody to really buy in, and also to feel comfortable and confident in their play in order to have this happen. I mean, Sal and I, we've both been on a few different teams, and sometimes it's difficult to try to adjust to what certain coaches have, to what certain players play like. But this seems like everybody's on the same side. And Sal was talking about his time at Red Bulls, where they actually did have an idea around the whole program and organization. I never had that. But he would say that it still stayed with him throughout his career. And I think that's everything like that's happening here.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it more with Frank about kind of what he said about, players aren't thinking as much on the field. And that's actually a positive thing, right? So when you're able to do things where it's just in your nature on the field, but it's the things that they want, and then you're able to add that creativity, your own creativity to the game, that's when you really start to excel. It's like in any soccer, right? Like if you're a youth player, right? Maybe your first touch isn't great. Your second touch, your shot isn't great. So when the ball's coming to you, what are you thinking about? How do I take this first touch? How do I hit this ball with this part of my, that's all things that are going through your head, right? Whereas now, when you get to become a professional or even better at your first touch, now when a ball comes to you, you're not even thinking about your first touch. You're just reacting. Right? You're thinking about something else, the creative part of your brain. And that's exactly what you're seeing, with SDFC right now, is they're not thinking like, oh, I need to be here. It's just happening. So now they can unlock this other part of their game that's just going to take the team to the next level.
And we're at the halfway point, basically, at this MLS season, and it is international time frame. So we've got some call-ups to announce. Paddy McNair for Northern Ireland, Irving Lozano for Mexico, Anibal Godoy for Panama, Luca De La Torre for the U.S. men's national team, Oni Valakari for Finland, and then we've also got some representing on the youth side, Luca Bambino for the U20s for the U.S. men's national team, and Duran Furry for the U.S. 19s. Really great to be able to see all these guys. Duran, I should also mention, is on loan for FC Northland. So caveat there, but to be able to see all of these guys from this organization be able to represent their countries in this way is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, awesome. Cool to see Lozano and De La Torre, those guys get back into the scene a little bit. Well deserved, because they're both having excellent seasons.
I would say good luck to all of them, and stay healthy. Congratulations on being able to represent your country. It's always an honor, always a pleasure, and they're just going to come back and bring that experience. So I'm excited for them all.
We also had the first club re-signing in San Diego FC history. CJ Dos Santos has resigned as goalkeeper. He is now signed through the 2027 season with an option for 2028. So that's really exciting to be able to lock him in. A player who's now had 7 clean sheets this season, 53 saves on the season, is really been able to keep SDFC in a lot of games and has been a key part of this team.
Yeah, I think we could take credit for that because I think when CJ came on the podcast, the front office probably was listening, and he was talking about how much he loved it here and how he'd like to be here long term, and so they worked out a deal. So yeah,
really happy for him, and happy for what this club has been able to do. I wonder what he wore. Well, you can check it out on our social channels. So we have a video on it. We also got to see the return of Marcus Ingvartsen, his first time back on the field since he was injured in the Columbus match on March 15th. He came in on the 81st minute versus Austin. So really great to be able to welcome him back. He received a warm welcome from the fans on the field. It was very loud for him for that sub-in moment. So exciting to see this team be in this form.
He was so close to scoring right off the bat, too. It was like, man, that would have been really cool. But yeah, it was nice to just see him on the field. I think maybe a lot of fans and haven't really we haven't seen his full, potential on the field yet. So I can still see that coming.
And we'll get to hear from Milan Iloski talking about just how much of an impact Marcus Ingvartsen has had on his career. Up next, we've got that interview. We also have got some insight from our assistant coach, Frank Hjortebjerg. So please stay tuned to all things official SDFC podcast.
As the official specialty insurance partner of San Diego FC, Palomar offers standalone earthquake insurance that protects property and peace of mind. It's crucial to be prepared. Visit plmr.com or contact your insurance agent for a quote. Palomar, reimagining specialty insurance with innovative, creative solutions.
Hey everybody, this is Darren Smith. I host a radio show called SDFC Midweek Live. You can hear it Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock on San Diego Sports 760 and anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Join me, Adrian Garcia Marquez, Warren Barton, SDFC players and staff. It's the only hour on local radio dedicated 100% to San Diego Football Club and the beautiful game.
And we're joined by San Diego FC's Milan Alaski. Milan, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. So we're sitting here. We're joined by actually three guys that have played youth soccer in San Diego, have gone and played at UCLA, and then also gone and played at the pros. I don't know the statistics of that, but that feels like there's not a lot of podcasts that have that going right now. So it's a pretty unique opportunity, and I'm excited for the conversation.
We'll all do a group 8 clap after this, guys.
Yeah, perfect. I think I forgot mine, to be honest.
I don't remember.
I think I forgot it.
You probably never even did it.
No, I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
Milan, can you just give us a brief overview, especially from being from here, like starting it back all the way at the beginning, what your soccer career from, the first time you played to now would have gotten you here to San Diego FC, just what that journey has been like?
No, it's been a crazy journey. I started playing at 3 years old at Kit Carson Park. I played indoor with my older brother, Eric. I wasn't supposed to play. It was only for 4 and up, but I was crying a lot and begging my dad, who was the coach, to let me play. So
you were 3?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
I need to get my son going.
He's
3. I'm like,
it's younger than most, I think, but that's all I ever wanted to do. I loved it. So I had 2 older brothers who both played. So for me, looking up to them and looking up to my dad, who also played, it was something I always wanted to do. So I started really young at Kit Carson Park and went from there to Pegasus. I played there.
Pegasus, that's a shout.
That's a throwback.
I was on that when they were the Hornets.
That's even more.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was at Pegasus, and then until they folded, and then I moved over to Surf and started playing a bit more competitively at San Diego Surf and the Polo Grounds, and then I eventually moved out to play in the residency for Real Salt Lake Academy.
I was in Casa Grande.
Yeah, I was out in Casa Grande, so I moved out there with my brother Eric.
Go to Casa Grande probably wasn't the nicest. Transition.
No, it was not easy. I'll be honest. But
how old were you?
I was just turned 16.
Oh, okay.
But at the time, like there was nothing here.
Yeah.
So it was Surf is a great club, but if you wanted to play in MLS Academy, which was started taking over back then, you had to go somewhere. So I was looking at a few places, and they're one of the best ones at the time. So. Yeah, I made the move over there and then ended up going to UCLA for 2 years and then turned pro.
You said you went over to the academy with your brother. You also played with your brother. Both of your brothers went to UCLA, but you played with Eric at UCLA as well? What was that like, kind of getting to go with him?
It was weird. Eric's a year and a half older than me, but he took a gap year just because he didn't know if he wanted to play pro out of high school or look at some schools. So he took a gap year and moved to Casa Grande with me. Okay. And then we actually went to college together, even though he was older. And yeah, we were roommates our whole lives. We didn't have like, some big house with all these rooms. There was 4 kids. So me and Eric shared bunk beds up until we were maybe 14 or 15. And then we made our parents be like, we need our own, we need separate beds. So we can't be in bunk beds anymore. But then we moved out to Casa Grande, and anyone who's been there knows it's not exactly luxury. So we were sleeping maybe a foot apart, and then went to college in LA.
And those dorms are not much separate over there.
Then you go to college. You go to college in LA. There's not many big apartments for cheap in LA. So we were in the dorms and right next to each other. And
what dorms did you stay at?
I actually only stayed at the dorms during preseason. And because my other brother, Brian, also was a 5th-year senior, you guys moved over there. He convinced the coach to let me and Eric live off campus with him.
So all 3 of you guys lived together.
So all 3 of us lived in a little 1-bedroom apartment with the ceiling falling in Westwood. So
love that.
Yeah, Brian was in the living room. We made some curtains for him. And me and Eric were,
what was the street that you lived on? Do you remember?
Midvale.
Yeah.
Midvale.
Yeah. I know all the names of them. I couldn't tell you on the map where they are, but
lived on Midvale, so stayed there I lived there the whole time. Yeah,
so I just know how close it is to Diddy Reese.
It's about a 12-minute walk.
Per Apple Maps.
So I had a great experience, and I was very lucky also to have both my brothers be really close to me. Growing up with Eric, especially, we shared every experience together. So I always played up as a kid also. I'd surf and stuff. I was always playing up with Eric a year up. So me and him always were really close. So
nice.
I'm sure they're going to ask a lot of UCLA questions in a bit, but just what got you from the jump from UCLA into now, kind of your professional career?
Yeah, I went into UCLA. I was pretty good in Salt Lake's academy. I scored some goals, and I was debating turning pro out of high school or going to school, and I was leaning more towards playing pro. And I actually went to college because my brother Brian was on some trials in Europe and decided to come back for a 5th year. And then when my brother Eric committed there, I was like, this is tough to pass up. It's not like you're going to a bad place either.
No.
So it wasn't like we were going to move across the country somewhere to go to school. It was a 2-hour drive for the family, and it was a crazy experience for us to be able to do. So. But going from that to turning pro, I had a pretty good year. My last year in college in Salt Lake, I was homegrown, so they brought me in as a homegrown player, and I spent 2 years there. But yeah, I think I took it very serious when I was in college. I think a lot of people my goal was always to be a pro from as long as I can remember. So I was going to college for this college, and I was a student athlete, and I enjoyed school, and I went back to school even though I left early and graduated. But I always had in my mind I wanted to be a pro. So for me, that was the biggest thing, I think, was taking it really serious when I was in college.
Did Salt Lake offer you homegrown after that year before you went to UCLA, or was it kind of?
That was probably my first experience in professional soccer. Okay. That was what they were going to do, and then they ended up sending me a second team contract. So at that point, I was like, okay, now it makes my decision a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So, but that was my first taste of professional life, and realizing, just because they said something in October doesn't mean in December it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
that changed a lot of things for me.
Seems like a lot of your big transition periods when it comes from going to San Diego, then going to the academy, then going to UCLA. You had your brothers around with you. So was it a big change when you went to, FC Northland and all that?
Yeah, for sure. My family's really big. We're Eastern European, so our family's really big, really close. My grandparents lived in our house growing up. My uncle lived in my house growing up, so we're a very, very close family. And I had 2 brothers that I could look up to, not just as brothers, but they were people that I wanted to be like. I was, my brother Brian was like more of a mentor. He's a little bit older than me, and Eric was like my best friend. So. When I moved away to Northland, of course it's tough, but that's the life. I think that any professional footballer will tell you. It's not very common for me to be able to play here. At that time, there wasn't even a team. So now it's unique to be here and be close to them and be able to be back around my family all the time. But yeah, it was tough, and I'm very family oriented. I have a younger sister as well, so the process of moving over there, you leave all that behind, and I think that's something not a lot of people talk about or know.
Yeah.
No, that can be tough.
What was the process of you getting over to FC Northland?
I didn't play much in Salt Lake. It's tough, I think, for any young player coming into MLS. Especially now there's DPs, there's big players, international players.
As an attacker, especially.
Yeah. Coming in as an attacker who went to college, it's tough. So I sat behind Albert Rusnak. It was a DP in Salt Lake and was a really good player, and still a really good player in Seattle. And he was fit constantly and never suspended, never. So I was just sitting on the bench, getting tossed into second team games randomly once a month or whatever. So
that can take a toll mentally.
Yeah. I was, I just moved away. Also, I moved to Salt Lake, so that was like COVID happening. All that stuff was all my first year. So I was like, I feel like I couldn't catch a break.
I made it.
Yeah, and then exactly. Then I ended up going to Orange County and had an opportunity to play a lot, and I got to play with Brian again. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. And then, actually a coach named Morten Carlson came to Orange County from Denmark. He's a Danish coach, and he played for FC Nordsjælland a while back and coached in their academies. So he actually told Nordsjælland, hey, I have this player. He'd fit your style really well. You should come look at him. And they sent some scouts down. And that was also, I think, when San Diego's all first started happening, and being a kid from San Diego, I think that they saw it as, a cool opportunity and also a pretty unique situation for me to go there and play in Denmark. And then, who knows, at the time we didn't know if I would be coming here or stay in Europe, but it worked out where I ended up coming back a little earlier than I think we all thought. But the experience over there for me was great. That's
awesome.
Yeah, that's good. No, it's a very unique situation how that all worked out. I mean, I kind of had a similar experience. I left after my sophomore year to go play in Germany for 3 years and ended up obviously coming back to the States. But it's not easy leaving friends and family and all that, at a young age. But yeah, I had the same, it's just weird hearing his story, growing up in San Diego, going overseas, the whole, it's all kind of stuff that we've, dealt with, but his just probably 10 years after us. So it's different. I mean, Marv and I always talk about how we wish we had, something like this. You probably wish you had this growing up, but now at least you have it in your prime of your career, where we wish we had any of this at any point in our career.
We're jealous of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so cool, actually. What they're doing here and building all this and setting up the academy. And I've been lucky enough to see how they do it in Nordsjælland, to see the academy, how it's set up there. And then I also went over to Ghana and saw the whole Right to Dream set up in Ghana. And I've seen all the videos and stuff of Egypt. I haven't made it out there yet, but I know it's going to be special. And then I also know it's kind of city San Diego is, it'll even be, multiplied here.
So you've seen it in 3 different areas. Is it all pretty much the same?
No, they have a clear model of how they want to do things, and it works. And the thing that was cool to me was when I went over to Ghana was I got to speak to the people who have been running it for quite a while. And it's amazing the difference they're making in people's lives. And for me, that's the crazy thing is, of course, everyone wants to be a professional footballer. That's every kid wants to do that. So, but it's also not realistic that everyone is going to become a pro. And, I was wondering, what do they do with the guys who aren't at 18 ready to walk into a first team? Because, in Europe, if you're 18,
you hear stories, nightmares of kids that just get left behind.
Where do you go? Yeah. And so they're sending these kids to top universities, sending them to, other leagues around the world that maybe fit them better. It's a whole the way they do things is incredible. And I know also having the resources in San Diego and through MLS, it's going to be amazing. And I think it'll be an amazing place for any kid from San Diego or also outside of San Diego to come here. So I think it's going to be amazing when it gets off the ground and really running in the next few years.
How special is it for you to be a part of it, being from here and getting to see this grow from the ground up?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my parents wanted to buy season tickets when they first got announced, and everybody I know, probably annoying our team administrative people. So I'm asking for so many tickets every game. I think they hate me.
Do they make you ask all the other players? ask this guy if he's using his 6.
Yeah, I just go around every week on a Thursday. I'm just bugging every player and every staff member asking for. I'm the worst. Also, I can't tell people no. So whenever I have friends or any family, I'm you can come. But then I gotta hunt for tickets. Scrambling. So, but for me, it's incredible to see it from the ground up. I mean, before I was watching the videos just from a local person's perspective, not even that I was going to come here. I didn't know I was going to come here. So for me, I was interested just from I want to see what's happening in San Diego, if there was any franchise starting. So, but then to be a part of it now and to be in it and, come to the training ground and, go to the stadium where Qualcomm used to be and all that stuff. Those were all experiences that I had as a kid where like we would beg our dad for Chargers tickets to go to Padres games. That was all stuff that we wanted to do. So now like it's a bit weird, but like kids are like asking their parents to like come watch my games and I get to experience that. So it's a little bit full circle and a bit weird, but it's obviously very special for me and my entire family.
They're writing Mr. Escondido on their posters at Fan Fest and holding them up.
Do they
in
still live in
matches.
Escondido, your parents?
Yeah, same house.
Same house.
They'll never leave. No, they love the house.
Where do you live?
I live in that house right now.
Oh, you live over there? In the same bedroom?
Yeah, same
In bunk bed?
Brother's still there.
Eric, I made him move back in.
Yeah, exactly.
He told his fiance, I'm sorry, but I gotta leave and go move back in.
Awesome.
Yeah, but no, same house because my loan's also like I don't know exactly how long I'll be here, so it was like I couldn't like come in and buy a house or rent an apartment for
Although
a
you
year-long
could,
lease.
knowing you got family,
I mean, in the back of my head, it's not the worst thing.
Exactly. If there's any place too, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Take us back to the moment. So you score your first goal at home in Snapdragon Stadium. You grab the badge. You immediately jump into the supporter section. Just what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it means everything. I'm an attacking player, so I know like I can make an impact in a lot of ways, but obviously I want to score goals and I want to be able to like put my stamp on the club. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know how long I'll be here for. So every opportunity that I get to play, whatever amount of minutes, I want to impact the game as much as I can. So for me, the easiest way to do that is to score goals. And I played a couple of games without scoring yet. And it's a little bit, there was also some pressure coming in because I do know so many people and so many people were so excited for me to play here, but like people expect me to score goals. Like my family, everywhere I've been, I've scored goals and I've been successful. So to come in and like not play well,
let's be honest, right? You're in a loan, right? So I mean, if you play 10 games, you don't get a goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna get hammered.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, credit to you, man. You've come in and you've not even in games you didn't score, you impacted. Even like I think the first time you played, you had that nice like back heel pass through ball. I think to Dryer, right? Yeah. Just creating opportunities in the attack and then getting those opportunities. When you get those opportunities to score, you're putting them in the back of the net, and that's just like must be so like relieving a little bit of the pressure.
Yeah,
and then you can play even better, and it's just
Once I got the first one, I was like, thank God. Now I'm free to just kind of be myself and do my thing. And of course, I had to jump in. I saw like the Chavo's Escondido banner, and I was like, I gotta go see the guy because I knew who he was. So I was like, I gotta go jump in there. So yeah, that was really special for me, and it was a fun experience.
Well, last game it took you 2 minutes to score, so if you can just cut that down a little bit, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
maybe they'll keep you around if you score quicker.
Yeah, I gotta maybe not wait so long next time, but we'll see.
Take us back a little bit to Northland. You overlapped with Jeppe and Marcus there a little bit. What is that relationship like between those guys and you?
It's really good. I mean, they actually became like my two older brothers over there because I did leave like my family all behind, and they knew at the time that they were going to come here, so I could like I guess be a bridge for them. Like I was telling them where to live, where to look. Like my mom was helping their kids. Like they have 2-3-year-olds. They're helping them like find school, stuff like that. So that was like an instant connection where we could relate on stuff because it's a bit weird when you go to a new club. You guys know like you're the new guy in the locker room. Like it's hard to build relationships really quickly, but I was very lucky where they were kind of coming to me like, hey, like you're from San Diego. Like how do we do everything? Like how do we, like they had no idea. It was like me moving to Denmark. I didn't know where to live or where to eat or what to do. Like, so I helped them out with a lot of that stuff. And I think that made our relationship grow really fast. And then from there, we got along really well also. And, they became like older brothers to me over there. They messed with me a lot, but also brought me under their wing and helped me out. And, I really appreciate them for it. And now I can kind of mess with them now that they're here. And I came back in. So it's fun to be on the other side of it now.
Did they help you out with the transition to Denmark at all?
Yeah, of course. So like when I went over there, that coach, Morten Carlson, told me like, Mark is an attacking player. Like you can relate to him as two attacking players. And he knew Marcus from just everyone knows Marcus from Farum because he's been at that club since he was 4 or 5 or something. So so like that's a perfect example of some 6-year-old kid who will come to San Diego one day, will be here forever. And that was Marcus. So he's really highly regarded there. And the way he carries himself as a professional is pretty admirable. So my coach told me like you should just follow him around. So I don't know if he knows, but like the first like month I was just like spying on him, following him everywhere, trying to learn, trying to like figure out what he was doing and where he was going, how he did stuff. So I got really close with him through that. And then Jeppe is just like I just like to mess with Jeppe. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Anyone
Like
on
purpose?
Yeah, I'll kill Jeppe anytime I can. Like his life's way too good, so I gotta hammer him down a little bit.
We've posted a little bit of content about this, but most people haven't really seen kind of, more of the insight of this moment. But you guys went to the zoo recently. We were doing promotional stuff for Kids Night. Just tell us a little bit about your experience at the zoo.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I grew up going to the zoo before they were switched. So in Escondido, we have the safari park now, but they were switched growing up. So it was weird. I was kind of walking around like everything looked familiar, but I hadn't been there in 10 years or something. Yeah. So, and then going with Jeppe and his wife and daughter, it's also funny because like I would go to I would go to like his daughter's name's Felipe. I would go to her like classes in Denmark. I would go to the gymnastics classes and so my girlfriend got really close with their wives and their kids. So going to the zoo was really fun. I was almost just like the funny uncle coming along for the ride. It felt like, but it was a good time and I enjoyed it.
Or there's a little bit of an introduction to a certain type of dessert up there at the zoo. Might have been a little fun.
Oh, yeah. I taught them about Dippin' Dots. They had no idea. So we were walking through the zoo and we're like exiting and I was like, oh, Dippin' Dots. And they go, what's that? And it's so Danish. They're all like curious, looking at it sideways, like it's like it's from the moon or something. And I was like, this is Dippin' Dots. And I bought them all a bag of a little cup of Dippin' Dots. And they were like, this is good. It's
melting in my mouth. What's
going on? They were so confused. They were like, why does it melt? And I was like, that's the point. Like,
it's ice cream.
Yeah, it melts in your mouth. And they were like, it's good. It's actually good. And now Jeppe sends me a picture of him buying a box at Costco.
Yes.
So
nice, man.
Yeah, so I'm glad I could give them something. I'm helping them out in some way.
Well, we also have some questions from the fans. You're quite popular here. You probably saw the post put on Instagram. So there's been a lot of submissions, but we'll try to run through as many of these as we can.
I'm sure you got a lot from like brothers and uncles and
stuff. Some
and
family members
trying
in
to
there.
mess with me.
We'll start with some of the ones from the fans, though. The name is Miguel. Miguel asks, what does it mean to you to be back home representing your city on a national stage?
Yeah, so that's the cool thing is like being able to do it on like a broad scale. So like being back in San Diego, like I've come to San Diego every off season, but like no one knows that. And I train in Escondido every off season for the last 5 years since I've been a pro. So now to be back and to do it and like be able to like bring some attention to San Diego and also like to Escondido where I'm from and people recognizing that, it means a lot. And the support's been unbelievable. I can't believe like how the fans have embraced it. And I knew it would be like a lot of support because I know people from San Diego are super loyal people who really like people from the community. But like I've been blown away by it actually. And so for me, it's been every day I'm trying to just, enjoy it and try to make the most of it.
We've got best goal you've ever scored.
Professional goal?
You can be anything.
I mean, I don't hear about a U13 goal from Pegasus, but
we saw those UCLA stats. There's a lot of goals, bro.
Yeah, I scored some good goals in college. Yeah. I probably actually my favorite goal is probably the one I scored against Loyal.
Really?
Yeah, in Orange County.
Was that on the team?
I don't think so. It was one where I ran like the whole
I remember that.
length of the pitch and cut back in, and then like played a little wall pass with someone and cut back on my left and hit like a swerver in the top corner. And it was
was your golden boot year, I think. Right?
Yeah. And so that was like also a big goal in that game. I think we were tied 1-1 or something, and it was a big goal. But I like that one a lot. And then I have some good ones in college that I like quite a bit actually, but. I need a better goal. I feel like I should have better goals in my locker.
Your style of, what would you say your style of play just as a player in general? Like, can you compare it to maybe someone that's like a famous player?
Yeah, I would say like for me growing up, it's like I couldn't watch Messi and try to like do what he's doing.
I don't think anybody could.
No, I'm not. It's just for me. Like I loved Rooney. That was my I shaved my head again. Okay. Growing up, like I shaved my head as a kid from 5 years old because I loved Rooney.
Okay.
So I love Manchester United, and that was probably the one. I love that he could play anywhere. I love that he was like,
he could drop it and play in the middle a little
like
bit.
he was a goal scorer, but also like the way he worked for the team, the way he like everyone talked about how he trained, how he acted, and for me that was always my favorite player growing up. So I tried to. I mean, of course, it's Rooney. Like it's tough.
Try to model yourself.
Yeah, I tried to like
Nice.
be similar, where maybe my best position is a striker, but if they need to throw me out to the left or the right or play as a 10 or wherever, like I can do it also for the
You
team.
played a little bit of the 10 in college, though, didn't you? I feel like I remember watching
Yeah.
a game and you kind of dropped down and were playing.
The year I had a really good year, I
Yeah.
think, was because I played as like a false 9.
Yes, okay.
And I really, a new coach came in and was like, I'll give you the freedom to move. Like you can move where you want. And so that kind of like unlocked me a little bit and allowed me to kind of move more freely. Like another person I liked was like Marco Royce when he was a little bit younger at Dortmund, and he was kind of like that also. Maybe like Griezmann, I like him a lot.
Griezmann.
Like this type of profile, I think is just similar to mine.
You answered one of the other questions that we had on here, but this one kind of follows up nicely. Danny Goose asks, what players did you learn the most from in either club, high school, or college, or the pros?
I mean,
It's a lot of
yeah,
options there.
Club soccer, like my brother Brian was like someone also that I looked up to because he never cut corners. He was always the guy who would take like, we'd always say took the long route. Like if there was like running around the field, he'd be the guy on the outside, running on the outside, not cutting the corner flag short. So growing up, that was someone I could look at and be like, he's doing things the right way and never like took the easy, quick route.
Yeah.
So probably for sure him growing up. And then when I turned pro, Damir Krylik was a great pro early on for me. That was someone that was unbelievable in the locker room and also as a player, like super determined, like super, really good professional, always doing rehab, always working on his body. Michael Orozco was a good one also that I played with in Orange County
played
for
club
1 year.
with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's our age.
So that was, that he was, I don't know how old he was when I was in Orange County,
Probably 36.
something 37 maybe. Yeah. So that was just a guy who's been around for forever and played at great levels. So in Orange County, that was someone who helped me out a little bit. And then when I went over to Northland, for sure, I think Marcus had a big impact on me, and seeing how professional he was and the way he did stuff off the field also. But those are probably the guys who've had the biggest impact on me, I would say.
We've talked about this a little bit so far, but at Ronan's Far asks, how was your time playing with your brother at Orange County?
It was great. I mean, we did it in college, but like the college system is like only 3 months or something. So, and for him, he was a 5th year senior. So he already had graduated. He just took one more class to be eligible to play. So it's not like he was really, we were together in college, but like I was going to class every day. He was just kind of hanging out and did one class a week. So like, he was living the life actually.
Their life.
Yeah, he was living a great life looking back. But then doing it in the pros was cool because we were there every day. It's a lot more commitment being a pro. You have to be there every day for an entire year, and you go through the highs and the lows, the travel. Like in college, you travel, but it's like you go up to Washington or you go up to, maybe to like on a bus or something. But in the pros, you got to go cross country. You got to spend nights. It takes a lot more. So we definitely got a lot closer during that period.
Favorite place to play in Escondido?
In Washington, there's a new league I actually visited when I was maybe like in December. Just this last December I went. They play pickup 5v5 every Saturday morning. So I went and played just in the off season. I was like, I brought some boots and some jerseys and stuff and handed some stuff out to some kids. And It's a new thing going on, and they have a new indoor league. So I would say there, actually.
That's awesome. SDFC Nation asks, if you were not a soccer pro, what do you think your career would be?
I don't know. I mean, we were talking about this actually. Yeppe was making fun of me because we were like saying like, what would I be? And I was like, I don't know. I was going down the path of like becoming a lawyer because I did do political science in college, and he was like, no way you're becoming a lawyer. And maybe not. Like that's a lot of school, and it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of work. But I guess if I wasn't playing soccer, it's probably what I would have done. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe been a golfer if I had a little bit more talent.
There you go.
That would have been nice.
What's your handicap?
Got +1.
Yeah?
Yeah, I play quite a bit.
+1.
Yeah.
Well, at
Basically
Brian
scratch.
_Iloski asks,
There we go.
how does it feel to be the worst golfer in the family?
The worst with the +1? What is this family?
No,
You guys
it's
all
just-
Tiger Woods?
No, he's just talking. He's
Yeah,
always
okay.
talking. No, I'm the best.
Okay.
Eric's pretty good now. My brother Eric plays quite a bit.
You got to play a lot. So you're playing quite a bit if you're a +1.
I'm going after this.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. 2-3 times a week?
No.
Once a week? I mean, obviously during season, you're probably.
I grew up actually. I don't actually play much now. Like I play once a week maybe, but like last week we had 3 games. I can't. Yeah, you can't. I can't go on a Tuesday and we have a game Wednesday, and then we're traveling. Like it's tough. So, but on like a bye week or maybe next week after Minnesota we have some days off, I'll play. I'm more good now because in high school I was always on the move as a kid and I had to do stuff. I could never sit still. So my mom, I was probably driving her crazy every summer, was like, let's get you a summer job, trying to get me out of the house, I think. So I worked at a golf course because I was a kid and I wasn't a hustler, but like I was always like, interested and always I was a hustler, to be honest.
Clubs for old men.
Yeah, so I got a job at Lake San Marcos Country Club as like 14, and I would teach kids how to play, and I was just on the course every day in the summer because there's no soccer when you're just playing at local clubs in the summer. So I would every morning go and be at the course from 6 a.m. until dark, unless I had training. And back then at surf, I think I only trained Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then I would train with my dad and brothers on the other days, but we'd train at night. So yeah, I was at the course every day, every summer at like probably a crucial age when like you're learning sports.
Sure.
So I think it just like almost like
picked
muscle.
It up naturally
it's almost like muscle memory now for me.
Nice. Where do you play here? Here at Singing Hills, or do you go some other place?
I haven't played here yet, but usually I bounce around. Like today, I'm playing with Brian actually, so he's meeting me. We play at Crossings a lot in Carlsbad.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one. It stays cool there too, also because there's the breeze coming in. So I'll play anywhere in San Diego. I actually have never played Torrey Pines, so that's something
you should. Yeah,
that's something.
Get your residence card before you move
back. That's why I never have. That's why we're in North County, so we don't get the residence card apparently.
Yeah. You need an address, just let me know.
Exactly. You'll have to report back on your scores from today's golf match.
For sure.
But the last one, basically everybody asked this question, but favorite food spot to eat in San Diego and favorite taco spot?
Tacos, probably Puesto down in La Jolla. We went there actually for Anna's birthday a few weeks ago, so it was really good. I've never been there actually. Nice. So I'd say there. Favorite food spot. I mean, growing up, it was Cheetos, but that's, I guess, a taco place. But I mean, that was right across from our high school, so we went to Cheetos
every high school. I think has like that taco shop that everyone.
Maybe
a taco shop.
Ours is Taco Fiesta.
Yeah, maybe it is, but that's where I went growing up, like all the time. So I'll probably say Cheetos.
Nice. Right. Well, that's all we got for you.
Thanks
for hanging with us.
All right, sweet. I wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah, man.
Get you over to the golf course.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for coming down, brother.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Big news from 18 Threads. New merch is available in store and at 18threads.com. So whether you're heading to Snapdragon Stadium or just repping SDFC around town, 18 Threads has you covered. Stop by Mission Valley or shop online at 18threads.com.
What's up, everybody? This is Marvell Wynn of the official SDFC podcast. And guess what? It's not too late to become a founding season ticket member of San Diego FC, just like me. Memberships start at just $40 per match. You can learn more at sandiegofc.com/tickets/memberships. Become a founding member like me and get your name on the founding member wall like me. This opportunity is ending soon.
Welcome back in. We are joined by assistant coach Frank Hjortebjerg for our match preview presented by Alaska Airlines. First, we have a lot to recap, though. It's been a busy month of May, 7 games played. We've been talking about it a little bit earlier. 5 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. The last 3 games, we haven't had a show for a little bit, so I just really want to get your opinion on the last 3 matches that San Diego FC's played.
Yeah. They've had many similarities, I think. So much of the game picture have been us trying to break down a defending team. Sometimes a bit more passive, sometimes very low. So that has been pretty much the task at hand for these 3 games, with variable success, I would say. But what we are happy about and what we spoke to the guys about today was that we felt like we could see a progression in the 3 games. So our ability to create chances. Obviously, it's not total identical tasks, but in terms of our style of play, how can we break down a more established defense? So I think we've seen a progression that we are fairly happy with. throughout these games.
Mikey talked about it in his post-game press conference, and we've been talking about it a little bit here about just how at this point in the season, it really feels like the team has really understood the style of play and have gotten it into their blood. What have you seen from, your experience with that team day in and day out, plus also your experience with this play style from your past in Marshland?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear for us that the decisions are happening faster now. It's more fluent. The guys don't need to process as much information, or at least the information that they're now processing is something that they are getting more and more used to, which should hopefully free up more resources to actually play the game and take what the game is giving us. So that I think is happening both on and off the ball. And of course also with more players getting more and more playing time. Hopefully we have a bigger squad in terms of that. So we're not so dependent on one guy specifically. But that development has been good. I think there's still a lot of room for us to improve even more. We want to be able to play a lot faster and create more chances, and also sometimes just pin the opponent down in a way where they will struggle more than they do. But we're taking good steps.
Yeah, it's interesting because that was somewhat always the plan, right, all along. Like we talked about how SDFC early on was integrating so quickly, right? But I think we spoke about a little bit about the creativity of some guys, and all that's going to come later when, like you said, they don't have to think as much on the field, when it just becomes second nature. And, based on what Mikey said, it seems like we're starting to reach that, right? Not at the full peak, not what it's going to be like at the end of the season, but guys are starting to be natural, right? When you play, now you have that personality that you can add to it because everything else is second nature. You've been in those situations many times.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if we speak about our style of play with the ball, our offensive game, our ability to create chances, what we did a lot in the beginning was we played through the middle all the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then, of course, teams adapt. And then they say, okay, when we face San Diego, we close down the middle. So then we developed into playing more outside and having those overloads out wide. And then what we really like now is that in these 3 games, we've done both. But now when they start to force us out wide, our ability to actually play through them inside and create chances on the opposite side, where we usually have a 2v1 or maybe even a 3v1 situation, because the fullbacks are arriving late but fast. So that development we really like, because then we can actually start to take what the opponent is giving us, and then we feel better prepared for each game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what you just said that I kind of like is saying how we used to play up the middle, and then teams started to adapt. For a first-year team, it is pretty impressive how teams are having to adapt to the way that we play. They have to adapt to us. They've been around, they've been established, but the way we play make them uncomfortable. And when you're talking about how we're developing and we're coming together and we want to make our squad a little bigger, with the different personnel changes that we've had, they seem to come on and have done very well. When it comes to Ironhoven, our right back, he is one of those kind of overlapping, forward-running type of players. We can see that. And then Alejandro coming in and fulfilling for Jeppe Surfkov in the middle, he comes in and he adds, some more grit, where it's Verskov, he's very solid on the ball, pass and move. How do you think, or how has the progression gone when it comes to bringing in typical players off the bench, becoming starters, and still performing in a way that fits the organization, the idea so well?
Yeah, but that's a huge task of us as a coaching staff, is to make sure that everyone gets as ready as they can be, and everyone knows what we expect of them, but also that we let them express themselves with who they are. So for now, you mentioned that this with Jeppe and Alejandro, which are 2 very different players, but they contribute to the style of play in their own unique way. So clearly Alejandro is moving around a lot. He's very good at creating 2v1 situations when we defend and winning the ball. And of course we cannot take that away, and we will never tell him you have to play like Jeppe or tell Jeppe that you have to play like Alejandro. So our style of play is hopefully creating the framework for the guys to go in and express themselves with what they have and their uniqueness, without diminishing the style of play and our principles. So that's what we try to do every day. And then Alejandro will do it one way, Anibal will do it in a second way, and Jeppe will do it in a third way. And then we just try to set the conditions for everyone to succeed in the best way.
Yeah, and then they all fit. They all play differently, but they all fit within the situation. It's kind of great.
Well, that's what's good too. Is like when you play now you've kind of seen all the different styles that they can come at you with, right? Teams have said, "Oh, let's clog the middle against them." Now they're like, "Okay, we can't do that because now they're good at this." And so now you guys have kind of introduced all the different facets of, okay, if this is what they're doing, this is what we got to do. And that's modern football. As stubborn as, maybe we are as a club, we're going to play our style, right? You have to like adapt in certain ways, never wavering from our style of play, but adapting little ways to beat teams. And I think, playing Austin or playing Colorado was a good example, right? Last time they really clogged the middle and they beat us away. And then you play them at home and it was just a different game. I mean, we were just in total control, I think. And so things like that is good to see from a young club, is, fixing the mistakes and beating them directly after that. So it's been good.
It's important that we have style of play principles.
Yeah.
And it's not rules.
Yeah.
Because rules don't apply to a modern game of football. Like, I can never tell you that in this situation you have to do this.
Yeah.
I can give you options.
Yeah.
And I can tell you we prioritize this. If that's not possible, then try to look for this. If this is not possible, try to look for this. But it's never a rule. I have to give you the chance of create that decision making on your own.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we cannot say that you should take what the game is giving you or what the opponent is giving you. So we have principles and we have structures and we have behaviors, but we don't have set rules. And that's really crucial because, like you said, the game is developing in a way where you have to let it happen.
Yeah.
And you have to let some things happen organically. Sometimes the players show us something on the training ground that, okay, this relation is perfect.
Yeah.
So we should not close that down. So it's always that balance of things.
Do you have a specific moment or any maybe series of moments that you can pinpoint over this stretch of 7 games in May? You've got 2 weeks where you've had basically 3 games, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. First time that the team has been, tested in that way, that has really excited you for the potential of this team for the future. Just looking back at what this team's accomplished over this span of time.
Oh, that's a good question. After the Austin game, Jeppe walks into the pitch and then he gives me a high five and we congratulate each other. And he was like, that was without me, right? Like that was. And what Jeppe like a lot is when he feel like we controlling the game. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, that was with a lot of control, that one. And so I think we're just having that short dialogue with him. Was
in Danish, obviously.
In Danish, obviously, yes. I'll leave that out of it. But because sometimes the players, they can feel it so well. And of course, he was sitting from the outside and observing
different
a bit more
perspective,
different perspective. So just that comment from him was nice to hear, because when he starts to feel it and see it, and that just transmits throughout the group, then it's a good sign of us moving in a somewhat good direction. And the reason Jeppe says this is, of course, because he also has this experience with the style of play before. So he can see things starting to happen that he recognizes. He can feel the tempo in the training and in the games that he play. Okay, we are actually moving in the right direction. So that was a moment like out of the actual game, but I like that.
Okay. I feel like also it's so important to hit that moment kind of right before the stretch of time where a lot of guys are going out on international duty, and you've got to rely on some guys that have been here that maybe aren't necessarily always in the starting rotation to be able to contribute. So sounds like it's in a good spot.
Yeah. For sure, we have a lot of work still ahead of us. It's still halfway through the season. But it's good to see that the guys who put in so much effort and that they haven't gotten to show everyone yet, that they also now are in a position where, because of the work they did themselves, because of their teammates, and because of the situation we're in right now, that they actually get to fill a role in terms of that also, because they have a big role in the everyday, but it's just not for everyone to see.
Yeah. So having that little tidbit about you and Jeppe. So I know as a coach, you have one feeling or dynamic that you feel how the team is performing, how the players feel and all that stuff. Is the conversations between players and coaches kind of back and forth? Like, typically like the way we were coached, it was more like the coach says something and you do, that's it. If you don't do it well, then they don't talk to you and then all of a sudden you're on the bench. Is there a back and forth? Like, do players come up to you, tell you how they feel? Do they ask you what they can improve on? Like, is the whole environment of a family of this team open communication both sides, or is it more of a, we kind of give you guys an outline, ideas, and then see what you can do here and there, and then we'll critique you here and there if we need to, or do they give you some feedback?
No, they give a lot of feedback, and if they don't give it, we ask for it because it's really, really important that, for example, in terms of training, they can feel what helps them, they can feel what they need, and they can sometimes also feel like something doesn't make sense at all. So we got to be open for that dialogue, both in terms of training, but also in terms of the games and the game plans. And so it's very much a dialogue. Of course, we have to set the frame, and of course, we have to steer that conversation in a beneficial way, where it's constructive for everyone and everyone benefits from it. And that's our responsibility as coaches, as more formal leaders of the group. But it has to be a dialogue in all these things. Otherwise, we believe that you take away valuable information. And that doesn't make sense for us in terms of doing our job the best possible way. And it doesn't make sense in terms of getting the players to perform in the best possible way. So that has to be a dialogue all throughout the season, not just in the early days or in final moments. That has to be a continuous work. And so if they don't give us the feedback, we ask them. So that's a natural creative process, humans interacting with each other in a performance environment like we have here.
Yeah, and in the style of play, having players come from the style of play before, it's almost as if you have multiple voices. So they may not always even come to you. They might go to someone who's been there before and then ask them. But the whole idea is grown throughout the team. So everyone seems to be on the same page as it seems. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. I think we touched on this in maybe the first podcast with me, that this part about our defensive principles, for example, that no one has tried it before. Now we're starting to get some experience with it, and people get more and more comfortable with it. The players within get more and more comfortable. So we also demand that they take the decisions out on the pitch themselves, and they take decisions and leadership in trainings, because that's the only way we can push things to happen as fast as possible. And sometimes they make a wrong decision. It's totally fair. All of us do that. But we would rather have them making decisions and leading and trying to push things than just sitting back and waiting for us.
Looking ahead to this weekend for our match preview presented by Alaska Airlines, the club is playing Club América, a very historic team, in a friendly competition. What can we expect from just like the perspective of the team going into this type of a matchup?
Yeah, so you can expect us being on our toes and preparing for this like any other game. Because it's an opportunity to give even more guys playing time. Obviously, we are fortunate enough to have a handful of guys away for international duties. So again, it's an opportunity for us to improve in our style of play, improving for the individual player, and also for them trying to move themselves closer and closer to the starting lineup in the MLS games. And you guys know more about the opponent than I probably do, and the whole cultural thing around it. But I can understand that it's a huge club who will come and present us maybe a bit of a different task than we have in many of the MLS games. And I mean, when you play a friendly in Denmark, it's usually like, if you're lucky, 25 people come and watch. And I heard
probably bigger than that.
From what I understand, it can be a different experience. So that's just so great.
Yeah. What I love about these type of games, and Marv, you've probably experienced it too, is like you mentioned, there's a lot of guys that, maybe haven't got the playing time yet. Maybe you guys trust them, but you haven't really seen them on a high level game. And instead of getting them in an MLS game that, points matter and results matter and all that, now you get to see them, against a top class opponent with not so much at stake other than, hey, let's play well, club friendly, let's make it tough. And I was telling them a story. When I was at Red Bull, we had an Open Cup game the day before. The next day we had to play Chelsea. There was no way around it. So we played Chelsea, but a lot of the starters that played in the Open Cup game the day before didn't play at all. So a lot of U23 guys all in there. So Tyler Adams plays in that game, scores. Sean Davis is in that game, another MLS guy. And it's almost like they're coming out, party. Like they were the ones that really steered that game. And then everyone started talking about it. And then the coaches started feeling like, hey, they're doing it against them. Let's give them some minutes on the front. And it just rose, right? It took off. And so that's what personally I like to see is you may see some young kids playing these games that really just like, whoa, I haven't seen that in a player. Maybe even himself, right? Maybe in training, you don't really see it, but then in the game, something comes out of them, right? And so that's what I'm excited to see is some guys that haven't seen the field much, but maybe someone that sparks your guys' interest a little bit more and you guys start giving them minutes and then you never know, his career could take off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. And it's like there's not a lot of stake in results standpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot of
badge, right? San Diego versus Club América. That is at stake. But
I'm sure you guys have also tried it the other way around where it can end up in a bad experience.
Yeah, sometimes.
And right now we feel like we're moving in a good way.
Yeah, you don't want to screw that up.
And we don't want to screw that up.
Yeah.
Plus, we also want these guys to be able to step in and continue that work.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of stake from a result standpoint, but there's a lot of stake in terms of continuing that development.
Sure. The team chemistry, those guys feeling a part of it. Yeah.
Also, the balance for the players coming in is not. They don't have to go in and prove themselves because we trust them, we believe in them. But what they have to go in and prove is that they are able to play together with the teammates. So it's not about proving yourself; it's just about proving that you are able to continue this play and this pathway we're on.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And coming before a big stretch, we've mentioned we're halfway through the season, but the second half of the season, you face opponents like Minnesota, who's sitting right behind us in the standings. You face Vancouver and some tough away trips coming up. So, good time to build some momentum with those guys moving into the second half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, we can see something in that game that we might not be able to see from the training or something that we didn't expect. Yeah. It can be a relation between 2 or 3 players. It can be one guy just stepping up to the task because he's able to just continue when the game gets fast. So for us, it's not just a friendly that we want to get it over with. We want to maximize this opportunity to continue what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have for you, Frank. Thanks so much for joining us. We always appreciate your insight and conversation.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you very much, Frank.